Well, let's see what he decides. I want to help get rid of Biden and Harris because I agree with the vast majority of Americans. They're doing a terrible job on the issues that affect us most.
Yes.
Americans say is inflation.
What is the price of gas?
Economy here in California, $6.
It's $6.
So I'm absolutely gonna support the Republican nominee.
Today, on an overtime edition of Real Time with Bill Maher, we're exploring some rather tasty political tea. And trust me, this one had all the drama. We start by talking about Trump 2024 and whether the Republican Party is ready to reverse course or strengthen its position. Let's just say that when Kellyanne Conway shows up, she is evasive. Will she rejoin the Trump campaign as its leader? In short, she isn't responding with yes, but she isn't responding with no either. Then the dispute began. Does Trump have to run for office again, or should upstarts like Ron DeSantis or Glenn Youngkin take the lead? The panel was discussing their viewpoints and dissecting everything. Let's get started.
Okay, Corkel, with the advent of social media, political protests have certainly changed since the last century. Is this for the better or for worse?
Depends on the quality of the character of the people who participate. Technology is just a means. What's the bring to it? What's the bring to it, you know?
But certainly, I mean, you would admit that it allows more people to hear about something going on. I mean, you could have the version of a flash mob.
That's
you
true.
know, I mean, you can get people in an hour to show up someplace.
That's true, but in the end, it's about quality rather than quantity.
Right, and it's also, I mean, a lot of people think they do something when they just post something on Instagram.
Exactly. Like they got a mass movement, all these likes here and likes there.
Right.
No, it's just a momentary situation.
So you're saying you got to actually get in the street.
You got to get decent, courageous, visionary people who believe in something bigger than their own ego.
So who do you...
Let's talk about two issues that are particularly personal in this digital age: social media and activism. During the conversation, Dr. Cornel West, a well-known scholar and truth-teller, gave some crucial counsel. He underlined the difference between being a true activist and just using a hashtag. While it's amazing that a single tweet may inspire thousands of people to participate in a protest, are we actually having an effect? Or are we just getting likes and retweets? He made a compelling case. It matters more what you do when no one is watching than how loud you are on the internet. He said, we need visionaries who are courageous and stand for something bigger than themselves, not just online flash mobs, but real-life street-based groups. He read us all in the sweetest manner, to be honest, and I'm all for that. Let's talk about it. Are we walking the walk, or are we just reposting it?
Trump is going to be running again, I'm sure. Kellyanne will be the campaign manager because he's going to say you stuck up.
Well, I'm one for one because I had nothing to do with his $1.4 billion 2020 boondoggle.
Right. Okay. You're one for one. And you wouldn't throw him under the bus tonight, so you know you. Let me just ask.
You shouldn't have people on here to and make this human dignity question: will you throw him under the bus or not? We were talking about January 6th, and I wanted to gently remind everybody it's not a courtroom, it's a hearing, and that they didn't even have the guts. I think I said balls to subpoena him, and they never do.
But I mean, you say you'll support the Republican nominee, but like we don't have a Republican nominee yet.
Why don't you want it to be somebody? Why don't you want them to nominate somebody else? We don't even know what she does. Her weekend schedule always says the vice president has nothing on her public schedule this weekend.
But
I want to get a vice president who's working for the country.
Why shouldn't they nominate Ron DeSantis or Glenn Youngkin or some other governor who's popular in his state who doesn't have the baggage that Donald Trump has and who didn't?
DeSantis just beat him in a straw poll.
So the Republican Party should nominate who it wants to nominate. But I will tell you, in the
primaries, they're all running.
They're all
running. You get an opinion too.
And I'll vote for whom I want. I absolutely will, and I'll keep that private. But listen, because that's my right. But listen,
it's right.
Here's the thing: they're all running as America First. They're all running on energy independence, better tax cuts.
I guess.
Out of it. They're all running on that right now.
It's driving me up the wall.
I am curious. I would like to know, since you're telling the Republicans they should nominate Josh respectfully, I would like to know how this party that had 25 Democrats running for president last time, you had an openly gay man, a very impressive person. You had an African-American man. You had a black woman in Kamala Harris. You had an American Samoa, that's Tulsi Gabbard, not Elizabeth Warren. You had a female socialist. You had a male socialist. And you ended up with the old white guy from Washington. How did that happen? How is the Democratic Party, this party...
Since the 2016 campaign, Kellyanne, the first female campaign manager to lead a successful presidential bid, has effectively become Trump's ride or die. When asked explicitly if she would join his 2024 campaign, she remained composed and indicated she would wait and see what Trump chose. A classic maneuver, but she did say she wanted Biden and Harris to leave office. According to her, she agrees with most Americans who believe they are doing a terrible job. She said that she would always back the Republican nominee but would not rule out Trump winning again. However, to be honest, it appeared as if she was leaving the door open rather than committing to walking through it. After that, the discussion took a different turn, and this is when it really became interesting. The other panelists started to object, questioning why Trump had to be the one. How about Ron DeSantis or Glenn Youngkin? Both are popular governors in key states and carry a lot less baggage. In addition, Trump's 2020 campaign failed despite spending over $1 billion. It's not exactly a winning pitch. According to Josh Barrow, the GOP has to seriously consider a candidate with fresh ideas and the ability to win. Because, like him or not, Trump is carrying a lot. Legal issues, the aftermath of January 6th, and overall drama fatigue. But here's the worst part: Kellyanne stayed silent. In response, she asserted that all GOP candidates, including the newer ones, continue to adopt Trump's America First platform. Thus, even if it is not him, his vision defines the party. To be honest, she has a point. Trump's impact has altered the Republican base, even if he is not the nominee. But that raises an important question. Can the Republican Party move past Trump? Or is it stuck in his shadow forever?
The most progressive voting bloc of black people did not vote for the most progressive candidate, who was Brother Bernie Sanders.
Right.
That's very important to keep in mind.
Right.
Because Bernie was much more tied to the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. than Brother Joe Biden was.
Oh, for sure.
But the black leadership, with Clyburn and others, tied to the pharmaceutical company, so he can't go for Medicare for all. No, he's tied to big money, like most of these milquetoast politicians. They tied to big money. So you got Bernie out there laying out his vision, and we were winning in November, remember?
What do you mean that's the first time? You had in 2016, you had the black voters lining up strongly behind Hillary Clinton over Bernie, and in 2008, you had them behind Obama, who was not as far left as John Edwards.
Right.
I think that I think it's a long tradition of pragmatism.
And now they're
among
going
black
for
voters.
Rick
Or we can say pragmatism or
survey
perception.
And in surveys now, you get
many
white
times
liberals
on
having
this
moved to
show.
the
But
left
the difference
of
was that
black liberals.
this last election, though, brother, when we were winning in Nevada, in that sense, we could have had a major push for black voters for Bernie. Where the first time he ran, it was an interesting kind of project. They didn't think that he really had a chance. And I supported Obama in 2008 when he had 4%, and the black folk were not voting for him.
But maybe,
Early on, they shifted later.
Maybe people just are not that in love with socialism.
No, it's
And
not socialism.
Well, Bernie is a socialist.
He's a New Deal, New Liberal.
He likes to call himself a
He
socialist.
calls himself a
A lot
socialist.
of people like to call themselves things. He
But
didn't
why
run
would
on
you
a
want-
socialist project.
Why would you want to call
We know
yourself?
that.
Why would you want to call yourself a term that doesn't have a positive
Because he's
connotation?
in love with
Divorce.
Eugene Debs, and he's in love with Norman Thomas, and others who
Okay,
mean
but
the
the
world to
people
him.
don't know who Eugene Debs is.
Well, you gotta-
And if they did, he wouldn't be
Debs was a great
popular.
man. You got to teach
I
people
think
who
he
they
owns
are.
the socialist views, though. I think he's very proud of that, frankly. And he just
Right.
primaried a guy, a Democratic congressman in Oregon, who was backed by Biden, and the
Also-
the more socialist candidate won.
We have polling on this. I mean, the white liberal is to the left of the average Democratic black voter,
No question.
right?
Every time.
On
Yep.
social issues and on economic
And
issues.
education.
Right.
Yes.
Most black voters are moderate, not liberal. More white
when you take
Democrats
the
are
Poor People's
liberal.
Campaign with William
So-
Barber and Thea Harris. We're going to be there
Sometimes
next
you're
week with
just-
him. The black community is very supportive of William Barber and company with
Yes.
the Poor People's Campaign.
Okay.
Just as, or even more than the white brothers and
Well,
sisters.
why is Joe Biden losing their support right now, though, according to lots of polls and
Gas.
articles?
Inflation.
That's the end of the breakdown for today, family. I appreciate the time you've taken to spend with me and join me on this wild 2024 journey. Whether you are a Trump supporter, a change agent, or just interested in politics, I appreciate you joining the discussion. So, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.